In an instant, I will illuminate a profound truth, the hidden landscape beneath every human facade. Are you ready? You carry a secret fear, the terror that someone will glimpse the authentic you, the self you meticulously shield behind witty remarks, dazzling achievements, and perfectly curated online personas. Yet, here is the liberating revelation. As you meticulously construct your defenses, every soul around you is engaged in the very same silent performance. I'm about to unveil a profound method, not of mystical mind-reading, but a three-step philosophical insight, inspired by Nietzsche, that can reveal another's true essence in mere moments. This isn't just psychological insight. It's a pathway to deeper understanding, an X-ray vision for the human spirit that professionals dedicate years to mastering. By the close of our journey together, you will possess the ability to discern unspoken pain, concealed fears, and long-buried shame, simply by observing the subtle rhythms of another's being. But first, let me anchor this truth in your own experience. Recall a moment when someone declared, "I'm fine," yet their voice trembled, a hairline fracture in their composure. Or perhaps a laugh, a fraction too quick, too loud, following a small misstep. You felt it, didn't you? That fleeting instant when the carefully constructed mask slipped, revealing a flicker of raw humanity. This wasn't coincidence. It was the unconscious mind, a loyal truth-teller, subtly betraying the conscious performance. And once your eyes are open to these subtle cracks, you will find it impossible to unsee them. A new clarity will dawn. Many believe human behavior is a chaotic, unpredictable dance. It is not. Every gesture, every nuanced word choice, every fleeting micro-expression follows an intricate pattern, a silent language spoken by the soul. Nietzsche, over a century and a half ago, began to unravel these profound patterns, insights that modern psychology has sometimes cloaked in complex terminology and clinical distance. The fundamental truth, however, is far simpler, and perhaps far more poignant than we dare to imagine. We are all pilgrims on a journey, each carrying invisible wounds, desperately striving to conceal them from the world's gaze. But here lies the profound irony. The more fervently someone attempts to hide their pain, the more brightly it shines to an observer who knows where to direct their sight. This method is not an instrument of manipulation or a game of psychological chess. It is a beacon of understanding, a call to empathy. For when you truly perceive another's hidden struggles, their actions cease to feel personal. The sting of their anger, the bite of their criticism, their relentless need for control, you begin to understand it's rarely about you. It is often a ripple from the terrified child still yearning for safety within their adult frame. And here is the transformative revelation. Once you master the art of truly seeing others, you will, in turn, begin to understand the very fabric of your own being, why you strive to please, why you recoil from conflict, why you diminish your own light when you are destined to shine. This isn't merely about reading people. It's about liberating yourself from the invisible chains you've unconsciously worn your entire life. These three profound steps: detect the mask, spot the cracks, and decode the wound will fundamentally reshape every interaction, every relationship, every conversation you engage in. From this moment forward, are you prepared to uncover what others are so desperate to conceal? Consider this shocking truth. You tell yourself small untruths, perhaps even 35 times before your morning coffee, and every soul orbiting your existence is engaged in a similar internal dialogue. We all don masks to navigate the complexities of survival. Now, let's peel back these layers. Observe the phone test. When a phone vibrates, does the owner instinctively flip it face down, lock it instantly, a fleeting flicker of panic in their eyes? That split-second defensive reflex isn't just about privacy. It's a silent cry of fear, fear of exposure, of a hidden self being inadvertently revealed. Then there's the confidence trap. Someone declares, "I genuinely don't care what anyone thinks," yet their gaze, constantly seeks their reflection, adjusting, scrutinizing. Their words may lie, but their actions confess. Authentic confidence doesn't need to be announced. It simply is, a quiet, unwavering presence. Yet, most people miss a crucial dimension. Masks are not merely about concealing flaws. They are intricate survival mechanisms, forged in the crucible of childhood experiences, often from profound trauma. The jovial class clown learned that laughter could deflect hurt, a shield of humor. The perpetually agreeable people pleaser discovered that harmony prevented the pain of abandonment. The relentless perfectionist internalized that any mistake invited rejection. These masks become so deeply ingrained, so automatic, that individuals forget they are even wearing them. They come to believe their false self is their true self. Having performed for so long, they've lost the memory of who they were before the curtain rose. Look for the overcompensation signal. Observe individuals who push too far in one direction. The relentlessly positive person may have buried their sadness so deeply it's no longer accessible, a lost part of their emotional spectrum. The one who never exhibits weakness has convinced themselves that vulnerability is a form of death, an unbearable risk. Pay attention to the energy mismatch. When someone's emotional state doesn't align with their words, they claim excitement about a promotion, but their shoulders are hunched with tension. They profess happiness in a relationship, but their smile never quite reaches their eyes. The body, a silent historian, keeps the score, even when the mind attempts to rewrite the narrative. Consider the timing tell. Notice the brief pause before someone answers a truly personal question. Instant, polished responses to, "How are you feeling?" are often rehearsed, a pre-programmed script. Genuine emotions, like deep wells, need a moment to surface. When someone has a flawless answer for every scenario, they aren't thinking, they are reciting a protective mantra. The critic's confession is another profound tell. People often attack in others what they secretly fear or disdain within themselves. The one who vehemently despises laziness might be fiercely battling their own subconscious urge to surrender. The person who mocks emotional vulnerability may be drowning their own unspoken tears. This isn't mere projection. It's a profound, albeit unconscious, confession. Observe the virtue signal. Someone posts eloquent pronouncements about kindness online, yet treats service staff with contempt. Someone preaches radical honesty, yet weaves elaborate fictions about their weekend. True virtue, like a deep river, flows silently. It does not demand applause. Here's a disturbing yet enlightening truth: the mirror effect. People often subtly transform into the very traits they most harshly judge in others. The individual who constantly criticizes others for being fake inadvertently becomes the most inauthentic person in the room, so adept at spotting masks that they perfect their own. The control freak, obsessed with rigid schedules and meticulous plans, often harbors a deep, unacknowledged fear of internal chaos. The micromanager isn't inherently strong. They are often profoundly terrified. 4. Information. Asymmetry. Always strive to know more about others than they know about you. Machiavelli dedicated countless hours to studying the habits, fears, and motivations of everyone in his orbit, while meticulously revealing nothing about his own. Listen far more than you speak. Ask questions that reveal others' thinking, while artfully deflecting inquiries about your own plans or feelings. 5. Presence. Without pressure, command attention through an unwavering calmness, not through intensity or aggression. Machiavelli noted that truly powerful individuals don't need to assert their authority. They simply embody it through an unshakable composure. This quiet power, a deep well of self-possession, naturally draws respect. They aren't avoiding you. They are running from the raw vulnerability within themselves. But here's what reveals the deepest, most profound cracks. Stress. When pressure mounts, the carefully constructed facade begins to crumble. The impeccably composed manager snaps unexpectedly at their assistant. The serene spiritual guru loses their temper in traffic. The relationship expert struggles to keep their own marriage from fracturing. Look for the inconsistency pattern. Observe contradictions across different environments. Someone may be a paragon of virtue at their spiritual gathering, yet cruel and dismissive to their family. 2. Stop apologizing for your truth. When your innovative ideas or your authentic presence makes others uncomfortable, do not apologize for occupying space. Instead, clarify your intent. Stand firm in your vision. Your truth is not an imposition. Then there's the trigger response. Every person has specific words, phrases, or situations that cause their mask to crack instantly. Mention an ex-partner and watch their entire energy subtly shift. Bring up a detail from their childhood and observe them deflect with practiced ease. These triggers are not random, they are doorways, leading directly to their deepest, most unhealed wounds. Consider the silent sphere. Some individuals simply cannot tolerate quiet moments. They fill every pause, every lull, with words, music, or incessant activity. The most untouchable individuals Machiavelli studied shared 3 defining characteristics. Notice the status anxiety. Observe those who crave constant validation. They drop names, overshare achievements, or subtly fish for compliments. This isn't confidence. It's a desperate, often unconscious, attempt to prove their worth, to affirm their very existence. True security, like a deep root system, requires no external proof, the ready-made response. Ask about their greatest fear, and they offer a perfectly articulated 2-second answer. That's not raw truth. It's a rehearsed shield, a pre-packaged defense. 2. They maintain the same unwavering energy, regardless of external circumstances. Whether facing criticism, praise, crisis, or triumph, their external demeanor remained consistent. This steadfast consistency became their signature and their shield. 3. They made others feel subtly off balance, not through hostility, but through an elegant unpredictability. People never knew precisely where they stood, which fostered a heightened sense of respect and caution. The blame game. If someone consistently struggles to admit fault, it's rarely arrogance. It's often a shame so profound that the slightest mistake feels like a total annihilation of their worth. Napoleon, once again, instinctively embodied this principle without ever knowing its name. When he ascended to the dizzying heights of emperor, he didn't merely try to layer imperial behaviors onto his existing personality. He ruthlessly, systematically destroyed the parts of himself that no longer served his monumental vision. Gone was the eager young officer who craved approval from his superiors. Vanished was the Corsican outsider who felt a perpetual need to prove he belonged. Eradicated was the artillery specialist who thought only in small-scale tactics. 2. The information harvester. These individuals probe deeply into your personal life, plans, or feelings, while sharing nothing meaningful about themselves. They are meticulously building a psychological profile to leverage later. Machiavelli's test. Ask them equally personal questions. If they deflect while continuing to probe you, they are harvesting information. But Nietzsche understood that true revolutionary transformation demands subtraction, a strategic, almost sacred destruction. Think of a master sculptor. They don't just add clay, they relentlessly chip away, removing everything that isn't the masterpiece waiting within. Or a gardener who prunes back dying branches to allow the vibrant new growth to flourish. 4. The status challenger. These individuals constantly test your boundaries, question your decisions, or subtly undermine your authority. They are unconsciously vying for social dominance. Machiavelli's test. Make a firm decision that affects both of you. If they immediately challenge or try to negotiate it, rather than accepting your leadership, they are a status challenger. 5. The loyalty tester. These individuals engineer artificial conflicts or dilemmas to gauge where your loyalties lie. They seek to control you through guilt, obligation, or the fear of disappointing them. Machiavelli's test. Notice if they frequently place you in situations where you must choose between them and other people or priorities. This is strategic manipulation. Once you identify these types within your circle, Machiavelli's response strategy becomes paramount, because different challenges demand different, carefully calibrated responses. He developed specific protocols for maintaining your untouchable status with each type. 1. Energy preservation for emotional vampires. Never attempt to fix their problems or provide the endless emotional support they seek. Instead, gently but firmly redirect conversations towards solutions they must implement themselves. Example response: "That sounds incredibly challenging. What's your plan for handling it?" Then, regardless of their answer, gracefully change the subject. These are not mere gestures. They are declarations of intent to your subconscious. 3. Strength projection for weakness exploiters. Never betray uncertainty, fear, or a need for their approval. When they offer ostensibly helpful advice that feels undermining, thank them, and then proceed to do the opposite. Example response: "I appreciate your perspective. I'll handle it my way." Then, demonstrate your competence through decisive action, not through lengthy explanations. 4. Boundary enforcement for status challengers. Refuse to engage in arguments or justifications. Simply restate your position once, with calm authority, and then act according to your decision, irrespective of their objections. Example response: "I've made my decision. Let's move forward." Then proceed as planned, without further discussion. He realized that true strength has nothing whatsoever to do with dominating others. That is merely a crude, outward manifestation. Instead, it is everything to do with something far more terrifyingly potent: the relentless, unyielding drive to become the highest, most magnificent expression of your own potential, an internal imperative that operates utterly independent of what anyone else thinks, wants, or expects. He called it the will to power, and here's why it stands as the most forbidden strategy of all. It renders you completely and utterly independent of external validation. The case of Nietzsche, unintegrated perception. Jung was deeply influenced by Nietzsche's philosophy, but observed how his superior perception ultimately led to psychological collapse. In Memories, Dreams, Reflections, Jung wrote about Nietzsche's unparalleled ability to see through social, religious, and philosophical facades with devastating clarity. However, Jung noted that Nietzsche never learned to integrate these insights constructively. Albert Mehrabian's research on communication validates this. 55 of influence comes from body language, 38 from tone of voice, and a mere 7 from actual words. Katerina mastered the 93 that transcended spoken language. It is an unshakable, unwavering commitment to your own ceaseless evolution. Here's what makes this strategy so profoundly forbidden. It demands that you cease caring about outcomes, those fickle external results, and instead anchor your entire being to the sacred process of becoming. Most people mistakenly tether their identity to results. I'm successful because my business is booming. I'm attractive because others find me so. I'm intelligent because I received good grades. But results, by their very nature, are largely outside your control. Markets crash. 1. Environmental calibration. Enter any space and immediately assess its emotional temperature. Who is nervous? Who is confident? Who seeks validation? This becomes your strategic map. 3. The integrated type. These individuals possess the remarkable capacity to observe their own projections with genuine curiosity, to learn from them, and to utilize them as invaluable information about their own areas for growth. Jung described these individuals as conscious, not perfect, but profoundly awake to their own psychological patterns. If you've learned to view your judgments as insightful information about yourself, then your projections have truly become your teachers. 3. Selective engagement. Respond only to communication that serves your strategic interests. Ignore provocations, deflect irrelevant questions, and meticulously focus attention on what truly matters to your objectives. Now that we understand Jung's profound framework for character assessment, let's explore how to apply it in the vibrant tapestry of real-world situations. But first, a crucial, heartfelt warning. Jung cautioned, "Where love reigns, there is no will to power, and where the will to power is paramount, love is lacking." Use these insights to foster understanding and connection, not to manipulate or control. Character assessment must always serve compassion, never domination. Machiavelli observed that Caterina could enter a room of arguing men and, without raising her voice or issuing demands, shift the entire conversation's trajectory simply through her composed presence and strategic questioning. Modern neuroscience explains this through mirror neurons. People unconsciously match the energy of the most grounded person in their environment. When you are unshakable, others become more stable. When you are strategic, others become more thoughtful. Yet, there is one final, crucial element that distinguishes the truly untouchable from those merely protected. While perception management safeguards your position, the ultimate goal is to fundamentally transform how people categorize you in their minds. Machiavelli identified 3 levels of social categorization that dictate how you are treated. 1. The manageable. People perceive you as someone they can influence, control, or predict. You are seen as helpful, available, and responsive to their needs and emotions. 2. The formidable. People see you as competent and strong, yet still human and approachable. They respect you, but feel comfortable challenging or negotiating with you. But it is also liberating beyond anything you can possibly imagine. Because once you anchor your identity in this unyielding will to power, you become literally unstoppable. Not because you will always win, but because you will always relentlessly grow. For parenting, these insights are invaluable. When your teenager complains that their friends are fake or attention-seeking, guide them to explore what this might reveal about their own struggles with authenticity and their deep longing for social belonging. This cultivates profound self-awareness instead of mere judgment. But always remember, character assessment is a profound two-way mirror. Jung's enduring wisdom: everyone you meet knows something you don't know but need to know. Learn from them. Every judgment you make, every intense reaction you have to someone else's behavior unveils something crucial about your own psychological patterns. Here's a practical exercise for the coming week. Keep a shadow journal. When someone irritates you, write down precisely what bothers you about them. Then, with an open heart, ask yourself, where might this very trait exist in me? Creative destruction. The audacious act of intentionally dismantling the parts of yourself, old beliefs, limiting patterns that no longer serve your evolution, making space for the true you to emerge. Will to power, anchoring your entire identity in the ceaseless, internal drive for growth and becoming, utterly independent of external validation or fleeting outcomes. But here's the critical, often overlooked truth I haven't yet revealed. These strategies, in their raw form, are merely intellectual concepts. Their true potency is unleashed only when you understand the precise psychological sequence, the specific methodology for implementing them. Most people, in their eagerness, try to apply all 3 at once, becoming overwhelmed and achieving little. Others focus on just one, wondering why the profound transformation eludes them. There is a specific order, a precise methodology that Nietzsche discovered for seamlessly integrating these powerful strategies into your daily life. Here are the crucial warning signs that you might be misusing character assessment. You feel superior when you figure someone out. This superiority complex indicates you are using psychological insight to inflate your ego, rather than to foster genuine understanding and connection. These are the profound questions I address in my next video, where I meticulously break down Nietzsche's secret methodology for psychological transformation, the step-by-step process he developed for moving from the chains of weakness to the boundless freedom of the overman. Because understanding these three strategies is merely the exhilarating beginning. Implementing them correctly, with precision and purpose, that, my friends, is where the real work, the true alchemy of self-mastery, truly begins. The choice, as Nietzsche would declare with fierce conviction, is entirely yours. Will you let this knowledge remain just another fleeting piece of entertainment, or are you ready to do the work to forge your own destiny? Thank you for watching. See you in the next dimension of self-discovery. You avoid examining your own patterns. If you are perpetually analyzing others but never turning the same rigorous scrutiny inward, you are employing psychology as a clever defense against true self-awareness. Jung admonished, "The greatest danger is that one may get stuck in the unconscious and never come back to reality." People become so captivated by psychological analysis that they lose touch with simple, authentic human connection. The antidote to these insidious dangers is what Jung called an ethical relationship to the unconscious. This means deploying psychological insight to serve love, profound understanding, and growth, never power, control, or superiority. Remember always that everyone you meet is fighting battles you know absolutely nothing about. Jung observed, "The moment one believes oneself to be the bearer of absolute truth, one has fallen into the trap of unconscious possession by the very forces one seeks to understand." Jung understood that we are all wounded healers, all carrying shadow material, all wearing personas to shield our vulnerable cores. The ultimate goal isn't to brutally expose others' masks, but to create a sacred space of safety that allows for authentic connection to flourish. Use these powerful insights to construct bridges, never walls. Let character understanding lead you to boundless compassion, not harsh condemnation. The most profound, truly transformative aspect of Jung's character assessment framework is what I call the mirror effect. The inevitable, often breathtaking moment when you realize that every person you are analyzing is, in fact, reflecting aspects of your own psyche back to you. Jung's timeless wisdom. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. The ultimate, glorious purpose of discerning others' character is to awaken to your own. This mirror effect operates on multiple, intricate levels. First, the individuals who trigger your strongest, most visceral reactions are always showing you your own unintegrated shadow material. If you are consistently bothered by arrogant people, courageously examine your own relationship with confidence and humility. If needy people drain your energy, explore your own needs and the ways in which you express them. Second, the character traits you most deeply admire in others frequently represent your own undeveloped potential. Jung termed this positive projection, the act of casting your own unlived possibilities onto others. When you place someone on a pedestal for being so creative or so confident, you might be projecting qualities you already possess, but have not yet fully claimed for yourself. Third, the patterns you begin to recognize in others will, once you know what to look for, become strikingly visible within yourself. If you become adept at spotting others' persona breakdowns, you will inevitably begin to notice your own. If you can clearly see others' shadow projections, you will start catching your own in real time. This mirror effect creates a dynamic, continuous feedback loop of self-awareness. Every person becomes a teacher. Every interaction becomes a profound classroom. Every judgment, rather than a condemnation, becomes a doorway to deeper self-discovery. Allow me to share how this truth unfolded in my own understanding. I once collaborated with someone whose constant, overt need for validation irritated me beyond measure. I judged them harshly as insecure and desperately attention-seeking. But Jung's framework compelled me to courageously examine why their behavior triggered such a strong reaction within me. The uncomfortable, yet liberating, truth was that I had my own intricate relationship with validation that I was not acknowledging. I had developed subtle, sophisticated ways of seeking approval, convincing myself they were fundamentally different from their more obvious methods. My judgment of them was, in fact, a profound act of self-rejection. I was criticizing in them precisely what I could not yet accept in myself. Jung wisely noted, "We are not what happened to us. We are what we wish to become." The mirror effect reveals not just what we have been, but the boundless possibilities of what we are capable of becoming. Every character trait you can discern in others exists as dormant potential within yourself. This doesn't imply that everyone will develop every single trait. Jung believed in individual differences and unique psychological types, but it signifies that understanding others' psychological patterns provides you with a comprehensive map of human possibility, including your own vast, unexplored territories. The mirror effect also elegantly explains why certain individuals feel uncannily familiar, even upon first meeting. Jung referred to this as the recognition of the archetypal, the experience of seeing universal human patterns that resonate deeply with your own psychological structure. As you cultivate skill with Jung's character assessment framework, you begin to embody what he called the conscious individual, someone who sees clearly without judgment, understands deeply without manipulation, and connects authentically without losing their true self. Jung wrote, "Individuality is the opposite of being a member of a group, an institution, a race, or a nation. The conscious individual thinks independently, feels authentically, and relates genuinely, rather than merely conforming to collective patterns. This profound consciousness manifests in several distinguishing characteristics. The ultimate integration. At the highest level of development, Jung observed, individuals with superior perception hold their abilities lightly, seeing clearly without attachment to others' reactions, accepting what they see with profound compassion, perceiving deeply without compulsion to fix everything they observe, understanding the sacred pace of growth." Jung called this the transcendent function, the ability to serve consciousness, evolution naturally, without forcing or preaching, simply by embodying more conscious ways of being, a living example of awakened humanity. Remember Jung's patient from 1913, the introverted intuitive who came to him during his own psychological crisis. After 3 years of diligently working with Jung's individuation process, her life transformed completely. She learned to distinguish between her own psychological contents and what she absorbed from others, anchoring herself in her own truth. She found meaningful work as a counselor, where her differentiated perception became a powerful tool to help troubled individuals navigate their inner worlds. She built authentic relationships with people who valued her insights rather than fearing them, creating a supportive community. Most importantly, she stopped experiencing her superior perception as a curse and began understanding it as what Jung called a gift requiring conscious development, a sacred trust. Jung wrote beautifully about her transformation. The patient learned not to see less, but to see more wisely, not to perceive less deeply, but to engage more consciously with what she perceived. You utilize character insights to build bridges of connection, rather than create walls of distance. When you perceive someone's psychological patterns with clarity, you feel a surge of empathy for their human struggles, not less. Most importantly, you apply the same compassionate analysis to yourself. Jung taught, the first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting go of it. You perceive your own shadow projections and persona defenses as invaluable information, not as indictments. This profound consciousness transforms how you navigate the world. Conflicts become potent opportunities for deeper understanding. Challenging people become invaluable teachers. Your own reactions become rich data about your internal landscape. Yet, Jung warned that consciousness often comes with a price. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself. When you begin to perceive psychological patterns with such clarity, you may, at times, feel a profound isolation from those still operating unconsciously. This loneliness is not permanent, but it is a natural, albeit sometimes challenging, part of the individuation process. You are transitioning from unconscious belonging to conscious connection. The old ways of relating through shared judgments, collective personas, or mutual projections no longer satisfy you, but in their place, deeper, more authentic connections become gloriously possible. When you can see and accept both your own and others' psychological complexity, you can forge relationships founded on authentic understanding rather than idealized, fragile projections. Jung illuminated. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. Conscious relationships feel playful rather than heavy, creative rather than repetitive, alive rather than rigidly scripted. The ultimate goal of grasping Jung's character assessment framework isn't to become a master analyzer of human nature in others. It's to become more fully, radiantly human yourself. Jung declared, "Man's task is to become conscious of the contents that press upward from the unconscious. As you diligently practice observing shadow projections and persona breakdowns in others, you inevitably become acutely aware of these very same patterns within yourself. This heightened awareness creates a powerful choice point. You can respond consciously rather than reacting unconsciously. Integration happens gradually, through countless small moments of catching yourself, projecting, noticing your persona defenses, and consciously choosing an authentic response over an automatic reaction." Jung wisely stated, "We don't really heal anything, we simply let it go." Letting go of unconscious patterns allows your authentic, radiant character to truly emerge. This process is not always comfortable, Jung warned. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. Seeing your own psychological patterns with such clarity means confronting aspects of yourself you've long avoided. But this discomfort is a productive pain. It leads to profound growth rather than stagnation. The integration process unfolds through predictable stages. First, you become acutely aware of patterns in others, while remaining largely blind to your own. You can effortlessly spot everyone else's projections, but not your own. Second, you begin to recognize your own patterns intellectually, yet you still find yourself caught in their emotional grip. You might think, "I'm projecting right now," while still feeling completely justified in your judgment. Third, you cultivate the remarkable ability to catch yourself in real time and consciously choose different responses. This creates a vital space between the trigger and the reaction, allowing for conscious choice to take root. Fourth, you begin responding to others' unconscious patterns with consciousness rather than unconsciousness. Instead of becoming defensive when someone projects onto you, you can perceive their struggle and respond with appropriate boundaries and profound compassion. Finally, you embody what Jung called the transcendent function, the extraordinary ability to hold opposing psychological forces in creative tension until something entirely new and integrated emerges. You become profoundly comfortable with paradox, uncertainty, and the rich complexity of existence. Jung wrote, "The difference between a good life and a bad life is how well you walk through the fire. The fire is the inevitable conflicts, projections, and persona breakdowns that define human relationships. Learning to walk through these experiences consciously transforms them from destructive forces into unparalleled opportunities for growth. This profound transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it is never truly complete. Consciousness is a dynamic practice, not a static destination, but each moment of awareness, Each conscious choice to respond rather than react, each decision to see clearly rather than judge harshly, propels you closer to authentic selfhood. As you embody Jung's insights about character and consciousness, something truly remarkable unfolds. Your heightened awareness creates ripples that profoundly affect everyone around you. Jung observed, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When you courageously cease participating in unconscious patterns, when you don't take the bait of others' projections or react defensively to persona breakdowns, you create an expansive space for entire new kinds of interaction. People sense this profound shift, even if they cannot articulate it. They might simply say, "You seem different," or calmer, or more real. What they are sensing is your decreased reactivity to their unconscious material. You are no longer unconsciously feeding their projections or reinforcing their defenses. This creates what I call consciousness contagion. Your awareness, your authentic presence, invites others into greater awareness, not through preaching or teaching, but through the sheer power of your embodiment. Jung declared, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." Your authentic presence speaks louder than any words. Some individuals will initially resist this shift. Your refusal to participate in unconscious drama might initially frustrate those who have grown dependent on these established patterns. They might even escalate their projections or intensify their persona defenses, desperately attempting to pull you back into familiar, comfortable dynamics. But others will be irresistibly drawn to your consciousness. Like flowers turning towards the Sunday, they will sense the possibility of a more authentic, deeper connection, and inspired by your example, begin loosening their own defensive patterns. This ripple effect extends far beyond individual relationships, permeating families, workplaces, and entire communities. When one person courageously stops projecting their shadow and begins owning their authentic reactions, it grants others profound permission to do the same. Jung believed that individual consciousness was the essential key to collective transformation. He wrote, "The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you." When you profoundly know who you are, including your shadow and your authentic character beneath your persona, you become immune to the world's projections. You also become a luminous beacon for others who are seeking their own authenticity. Your willingness to bravely face your own shadow gives others the courage to face theirs. Your ability to consciously drop your persona masks creates a sanctuary of safety for others to risk their own authenticity. This is the deeper, more magnificent purpose of character assessment. Not to judge or manipulate others, but to understand human psychological patterns with such clarity that you can respond to them consciously rather than reacting unconsciously. Jung's enduring legacy wasn't merely his specific techniques or theories. It was his profound, unwavering invitation to consciousness itself. Every person who chooses awareness over unconsciousness, authenticity over performance, and understanding over judgment contributes immeasurably to the evolution of human consciousness. The two profound truths Carl Jung identified that reveal someone's true character, their shadow projections and their persona breakdowns, aren't just tools for reading others. They are powerful mirrors that reflect your own magnificent journey toward consciousness and ultimate authenticity. Jung wrote, "To be normal is the ultimate aim of the unsuccessful." But you, dear seeker, are not here to be merely normal. You are here to be conscious, to see with crystalline clarity, to understand with profound depth, and to connect authentically with the beautiful, complex human beings around you. Every time you catch yourself judging someone harshly, you are gifted with an invaluable opportunity to explore your own shadow. Every time you notice someone's mask slipping under pressure, you can courageously examine your own persona defenses. Every time you resist the urge to wield psychological insight as a weapon, you choose consciousness over unconsciousness. Jung understood that the journey toward authentic selfhood is the most vital work any individual can undertake, not just for themselves, but for the collective evolution of all human consciousness. Your willingness to bravely face your own shadow, to consciously drop your own masks, to respond with intention rather than reacting unconsciously, creates ripples that extend far beyond your individual life. You become what Jung called a culture creator, someone who models new, expansive possibilities for human relationship and consciousness. The two reveals Jung discovered aren't the end of character assessment. They are the vibrant beginning of character development. Your own character development and your profound contribution to the consciousness of everyone you encounter. So, watch for the projections. Notice the persona breakdowns, but most importantly, turn that same clear, compassionate seeing toward yourself, because the ultimate character you are developing isn't someone else's. It is, in its magnificent entirety, your own. Your journey toward consciousness begins with seeing clearly, and it culminates in the breathtaking process of becoming who you truly are.